Yep. All right.
Hey, look at that. It's actually working. Sweet. I love when technology works. I'm going to plug my earphones in.
Mix pre.
Yeah. The irony being we bought this to do stuff like this and we haven't actually used it yet.
I know.
Because we haven't done it on the road or Say Mean Things for a while.
Yeah, we need to do a Say Mean Things. We need to do one or two of those before you head out.
Yeah, we should.
Or we could do a virtual one.
We could do a virtual one. I think.
But I'd like to do it before.
We should try to do one the next month and a half before I leave.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we haven't. Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hey, I'm Josh.
We're on the road.
Yeah.
We haven't done one of these in a while. Let's see. Is the audio really as loud as it sounds? Let me turn my headphones down. That's part of the problem. Levels look good. Sweet. I haven't done one of these in a while. Partially because we just haven't been driving to shoots together that much.
Yeah.
And they've all been close. Partially because we haven't been shooting that much together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we're heading to College Station to photograph a wedding. So.
Today's wedding is the most annoying couple ever because they're named Josh and Becca, just like him and his wife.
Yeah.
So it's Josh Gunther who shoots with us, part of Team Blue. So we're excited about this.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It's going to be a fun wedding. It's just going to be really annoying because they're named Josh and Becca, and that's going to drive me crazy.
Drive you crazy?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to drive me crazy. What? Who? Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So Gunther and I shot a wedding together last month, and the groom, the brother-in-law, me, and Josh Gunther, all Joshes.
Well,
There's 4 of like 10 guys at the wedding.
We had him at a wedding where Josh Scott was with us. So it was like, our entire team is Josh plus Andrew.
Yeah.
Just,
we should have brought Kosh.
You could just yell Josh, and any of us will answer. It's fine.
We should have brought Kosh, and there could have been Josh, and Kosh.
just call Josh. We'll all answer.
Go to Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yeah, oh goody. There we go. We'll take those off.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So, yeah, it's been a good fall, spring. My wife left this morning for California. She's moving to San Diego for the next year.
We knew about it.
Yeah, this was not a surprise. She took the cats. I'm so sad. I'm wearing my Taco Cat shirt because my cat's name's Taco.
Yeah.
So I'm here till July, and then I'm going to be out there 3/4 time probably.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Fish a different pond.
Yeah.
Only for sure for a year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I talked to actually one of our contacts out there and let them know you're going to be out there, so they were excited.
Oh, cool. I got to print some new business cards that say San Diego on them.
Yes. Probably ought to update the website or something too.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with that yet because I haven't partially decided what to do.
No.
Partially because there's 2 modes when my wife leaves town, which she does pretty frequently. I'm either really, like, grumpy or I'm manic, and I think this one's going to be a manic one, so the next couple of weeks will be highly proactive, probably.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Did a little 9 Inch Nails jam out this morning, which is always good.
It's a good way to get the day started.
Yeah, I gotta I gotta finish the teardrop because it's got to go to California with me. So those of you who follow me on Facebook, I don't really share it anywhere else. I'm building a teardrop from scratch. I've been building it for a while, but the last 6 months I've been kind of working on it intensely. I'm going to try to finish it up in the next month and a half. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Actually finish a project. Yeah, that might start a lot of stuff. So what do you, I haven't hung out with y'all in a while. It's like, what are the kids doing? Like, your kids are what, like 40 now?
Yeah, they're 40. They just finished college, both of them at the same time.
At 40?
Yeah, at 40, which is about my path. No, they, we just finished up spring baseball. Colton had his awards, first grade awards. He got creative writer, which means he's also going to be a heroic bullshitter, so that's going to be good.
He comes from the right family.
Yeah, that's what we do, so that's going to be good. Dash is done with preschool, so he has 1 more year of preschool, and then he'll be in kindergarten. Becca just finished up her teaching, so we're driving to Colorado in 2 weeks to go shoot a wedding out there for some friends.
Oh, okay. You're gonna family vacation it with it a long time.
Yeah, and then
we're in Colorado.
So the wedding's in. I was corrected by this. It looks like it should be Buena Vista because it's spelled Buena Vista.
Like it would be said in Spanish.
But apparently the locals pronounce it Buena Vista.
But it's kind of like we say Llano instead of we say Llano like we should.
Right. So we're gonna do that for the first 2 days. Hit Colorado Springs. I think we want to take the train up to the top of Pikes Peak.
Ooh, totally don't like that. I'm sad we didn't do that when we were there.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. Gonna do Garden of the Gods. I think we're gonna do Breckenridge. Do some like mountain sledding,
Oh, the summer sliding. Yeah, we did that when I was a kid. It was a lot of fun.
We're gonna do some of that, and then maybe do some like whitewater rafting.
We did that there too when we went to Breckenridge.
So there's some. I've looked, and there's some routes that Dash can
so
go
y'all
on.
doing southeastern Colorado?
It's pretty central, actually.
Okay.
It's central,
So
kind
you go
of.
like Colorado Springs and then west.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff along 40, I want to say. Like there's a canyon out there. I think it's on 40. Maybe it's on 70.
Yeah.
There's a canyon that's got like hanging falls on it and stuff that are really cool. There's a bunch of cool roadside stuff.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to hit up into like Leadville, that kind of area as well. Yeah, just kind of. We don't really have an itinerary past like the first 3 days, and we're out there for 7. So we'll kind of see. We'll play it by ear. So
I mean, my experience driving through Colorado, the number of times I've done it, is you can pretty much just say, okay, we're going to drive for an hour and then stop somewhere, and there'll be somewhere to stop.
Exactly. So yeah, just kind of get out in the mountains and play. That's where I like playing. I'd rather do the mountains than the beach just about any time. I like the beach for about a day.
I'm really excited about living in California, which I know is weird.
Let me rephrase that. I don't like Texas beaches that much.
Yeah.
If I could live in like Santa Cruz, yes.
Fair, yeah.
Belize, all right, we're talking.
Padre, I love Padre, don't get me wrong, but it's a whole lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
Unless you like surf fishing, it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
Although I'm teaching a workshop there in July, so it's so totally exciting. You should come. We're gonna do Milky Way, so we're gonna be using the dark skies.
Yeah. I like being at the beach. I like being near the beach.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm a diver and I like West Coast diving. I haven't done much of it, and my wife's office she's going to be working at the Scripps/NOAA campus at UC San Diego, even though she's technically a UC Santa Cruz employee. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Just how it worked out. But she has parking privileges there, so she'll have a parking pass and all that. And there's shore diving there.
Huh.
So I'm going to be shore diving there a lot, probably.
Do you
try to do 1 day a week, probably go shore diving?
Do you need dry suit or is it?
I have a dry suit.
What I'm saying is
I think the temperatures range from mid 50s to mid 60s. So yeah.
Yeah.
Make it up in the higher 60s, but it never gets above 70 really. It's warmer than like San Francisco and Monterey.
Everything's warmer than San Francisco and Monterey.
I've never been. I dove at Carmel, which is south of Monterey, but a lot of people dive there, Kelp Forest.
Yeah.
In a dry suit with reasonably heavy underwear, and I was diving with a single cylinder. Now I dive with side mount, so my cylinders aren't on my back; they hang on my side. But when you dive with a back mount cylinder, the cylinder sits and compresses your insulation. I have never been so cold in my life, man. I had a stripe of freezing cold down my back.
Ugh.
So I gotta get the dry suit out of. It's been kind of mothballed for a while. Get it out. Make sure I still fit in it. I think I do. I bought it when I was this big. I gotta lose some weight, but that's a different problem. Take most of my dive gear out there.
That'd be good.
Start diving. Got the underwater housing.
Yeah.
Many of you follow me on Instagram. Saw a bunch of stuff from Belize. I'm gonna be out in the Gulf here next month, or this month. I guess it's June technically.
It's June 2nd.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Hoping to do a bunch more underwater photography and hope to add models to it in the actual open water. So we'll see.
Yeah. And it's summertime, so we're gonna be doing some of our mermaid stuff. We're gonna be doing some pool days and probably some spring days somewhere around Austin. So San Marcos or Comal or some of the other springs.
You need to go out to Garner.
Or Garner, yeah.
Just for a fun shoot.
Yeah.
Because the water out there is super clear.
I'm down for any of that.
You just got to do it on like a Tuesday. Because if you go on a Saturday, you can't get in the place.
Yeah. Always.
Texas State Parks, way too busy. They need more parks.
Yeah. Yeah, so the last couple of weeks for me, I've kind of been experimenting with color a lot lately.
Yeah, your smoke photo with Mia looked really good.
Yes, so that's been part of an experimentation. I did one with Heidi as well.
Was that just gray smoke or was that color
Purple.
smoke? And then you just put light on it to get the other colors in it?
So it was purple light and orange light on that one.
Yeah, because it had the smoke was multicolored.
Right. So where they met, there's a lot going on because you have orange on her,
Clearly.
purple on that, purple smoke, and then where they all three mix are a different color where they're individually mixed. So I've been, I just bought a book that's been really good. It's called Chroma by Nick Fancher. I recommend it. It's really good. It's kind of changed my workflow in editing slightly, or at least when I'm dealing with that type of photo. And they're using individual color curves. So just the red channel, just the green, just the blue. When I'm doing my contrast curves as a way to boost colors.
Oh, yeah, that's always weird to me when I edit that way because you get weird color shifts. But I can see if you. I've never gotten an intuitive feeling of how to do it.
And that's what I've been working on. That's exactly what I've been working on. I'm starting to like, oh, it's more, the blue channel gives me either
magenta or green.
Yeah,
or
so
whatever that is.
And so that shift, and it's given me a lot smoother transitions in my colors. So before, what I would do, I would use the HSL panel.
And I feel like in Lightroom, you don't have a lot of control over how the transition between them. It's one of the things I like about Capture One is you can control the borders a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Lightroom, you just kind of get the block of color you get.
Yeah. And so it was giving me, when I really was pushing colors pretty hard with the HSL panel, it was giving me some blockiness.
Artifacts and blockiness.
Yeah, and so doing it this way with the tone curves. And then also, I never played with it really, but in the camera calibration panel, I use camera calibration, but I just use that as a starting point. I don't typically adjust the hue and saturation in the camera calibration. I adjust in the HSL, and so I'm doing more in there. And
I've been playing with color profiling more recently too, which is kind of the same on the input side.
Yeah, and the new Lightroom update has a ton of more new color profiles. So before
the camera calibration?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have some that are correct, but then they also have some that are very artistic.
Yeah, they started. Capture One, I think, it's starting to put some pressure on Lightroom actually, because more people.
It's great. Yeah.
So they're starting to cause Lightroom to pay attention to some of the stuff it does badly that Capture One does well.
Yeah.
Bad.
So and then the other thing they did, they made the tone curve adjustment a bigger. They allowed you to go more fine tune on that. And
the curves, the curves in Lightroom were never my favorite thing because they're limited.
Yeah, but they're almost identical to Photoshop curves now.
Oh, that's good. That's one of the things I like about Capture One is it had regular little curves, not the block one they had.
So I've been playing with that for some experimental shoots over the last couple of weeks, and I've really been happy with kind of how they've turned out. So again, the book is called Chroma by Nick Fancher. He's a great follow.
I'll throw a link in the description.
Yeah, he's a great follow on Instagram. He's really good at like shooting very creatively with very limited gear, which I appreciate. So
I'm actually reading a book that really dovetails into that in a different way than I would expect. So I just read Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. If I'm saying your last name wrong, I sincerely apologize. And I'm now reading Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon.
Okay, I know that one.
Yeah, so Still Like an Artist about imitating people you follow, imitating people who are your inspirations, and not plagiarizing, right? So if you steal from one person, it's plagiarism. If you steal from 5 people, it's art, right? You're synthesizing something new. So it's about that. But Show Your Work was really interesting because it kind of put together all the stuff I sort of half knew in the back of my mind about sharing. And I've been really bad about sharing my cutting room floor stuff and my mistakes. And so I've kind of made a decision. I'm going to try to share a lot more stuff, a lot more mistakes, a lot more process stuff.
Okay.
And I was doing like the walkthroughs on YouTube for a while, and I kind of stopped for a little while because I enjoy doing them, but the flip side of the coin is I don't know that I do them very well, and there's a ton of great content on YouTube. So some of this feels like, can I do imposter syndrome? Can I do it better than the people doing it already? So why bother?
Right.
Anyways, I'm going to start doing that more just because I want to share my process. But the Still Like an Artist is, I've been kind of doing it for a while, and I want to talk about what I've been stealing more. That's one of the things that kind of came from the 2 books. So like Dan Winters is a big influence on it. I think both of us, we like his work.
Yeah.
And I did a shoot with Stacy and that Great Dane where I really kind of just cribbed his style a little bit. And I've always liked dark and grungy, so I've kind of always shoot that way, but I kind of try to take some of his monochromatic. He does a lot of green.
Yeah.
Everything kind of feels like the opening to The Matrix.
Yeah.
And I used a ring light, which I normally hate, but if you're trying to make things look grungy, it works really good.
It works as a good fill.
Yeah, people use it as a beauty light, and it's terrible for that. But whatever, that's my opinion. So I've been doing that. So I'm going to be trying to do more of that, stealing from influences, and not just photographers. My wife's graduation was kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So I guess we haven't done one of these since we shot a bunch of that.
Yeah.
So my wife finished a PhD. That's why she's got a new job. And she's an anarchic scientist. So she's never ever done the graduation stuff. She's never gone to graduation and walked. She's never done graduation photos, senior photos, whatever you want to call them. So we went to DC for graduation because she went to George Mason in DC, and we we ended up doing graduation photos, and of course, we didn't just go to Zilker and take pictures. We actually built a set to look like an Antarctic hut, research hut from turn of the century, which is an Antarctic scientist, kind of makes sense.
Shackleton.
Yeah, very Shackleton. And we dressed her up in kind of Victorian. Everything was kind of dingy, but she was in bright blue and red, so she was the only thing kind of bright in the pictures. And took some photos. And then I took some photos of her. She likes vintagey dresses, so she had a couple of vintagey dresses, one that had penguins all over it, so I took pictures of her in that. So I got some photos I'm really happy of, and my tongue-in-cheek, but also true, like we kind of the whimsical style of the photo, I tried to kind of steal a little bit from Alexia Sinclair, and then I said I tried to shoot it Dan Winter style, because instead of doing it in post, which a lot of Alexia Sinclair stuff's composited, I tried to actually shoot everything there, which is kind of how Dan Winters seems to work.
Yeah.
He builds a set, he builds the props, he shoots everything in place. So that was fun, and I've been doing more stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm trying to do more of that stuff and not feel like I'm taking cheesy Sears portrait studio photos.
Yeah. And I think a blend of what Sinclair does and what Winters does, I think that's...
He does a lot of editorial portraits, so what I've realized is that a lot of his portrait work is simplification, right? So it's like the Blade Runner photos with Ryan Gosling. Like, it's one head and shoulders, one prop, really simple colors. I just recently rewatched the Platon episode of Abstract, and he talks about simplification. And I think when I look at Dan Winter's editorial portraiture, the stuff he does for magazine covers and stuff, not necessarily his out in the world documentary stuff, it's a lot about simplification. It's a lot about that one prop. I'm thinking of the one where he's got like the dog head on a stick with a guy who had a dog. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
I can't remember that one.
And it's a ring light shot, and it works really well because it's very strange looking. But there was a story there, but he really simplified it. He didn't have a lot of things in it.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to realize that was a Heiser photo or something, and I'm dumb. But I'm pretty sure it's a Winters photo I'm thinking of. Well, he has a lot of photos like that are just kind of like one element from the person that tells you something about them.
I think what a lot of the great photographers that I look at, I think a common theme among all of them is they only show you exactly what they want to show you. There's no extra or fluff that wasn't meant to be in that frame. Now, maybe it was cloned out in Photoshop, maybe it was because you built the set. Either way, that doesn't matter. What matters is everything in the frame helps tell the story. And there's nothing that takes away from that story being told.
I think people at Photo Club, I think that's one of the biggest things that people at Photo Club, whether they realize it or not, are learning in the competition.
Yeah.
Is if you submit a photo, it doesn't matter what the subject's doing, if it's a busy background that doesn't help the story.
Yep.
Almost every judge we've ever had will say, well, it's a cute dog or it's a cute human, but what's all this stuff in the background? It's just distracting me.
Right.
And the difference between that and even a photo that's busy, but think about like Nat Geo photographers who go out in the world and are documenting stuff. You know, and there's one person that you can clearly tell is the subject, but it's supported by an entire world behind them.
Right.
Which in a lot of ways is way harder than the studio portrait because you have no control in the real world. That's one of the reasons I feel like I'm faking it in the studio. But I've also got a totally different standard for what's good in the studio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a different thing. That's actually what we're going to shoot a wedding, right? Like, one of the things that makes weddings so hard is you've got, this is going to sound negative, but it's just the way the world is. Like, you've got drunk uncles and people dancing in beer cans and garbage everywhere and people's purses and jackets.
There's a lot of randomness at weddings, right?
It's really hard to make a clean storytelling photo that gets the environment. One of the reasons I shoot wide open so much at weddings is because if I don't shoot wide open, you can see all that crap, and that crap usually doesn't add to the photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like shooting a little wide, but I've had so many like first dance photos.
14 is so hard to wedding because there's so much crap in the background.
Well, even if it's good, right? You have a crowd watching somebody dancing, and it's a beautiful lit, everything's working, and then there's one person in the crowd right in the center of the frame, like looking at their cell phone.
Yep.
Or like has a bad expression on their face, and you're like, yep, that doesn't work anymore because that one thing just totally knocks down all the structure of the photo.
I think some of the reason, so the fearless photographer people, like, if you look at the photos that win there a lot of them are black and white, and a lot of them have a lot of black in the frame. There's a lot of burning going on there.
Oh yeah.
Or dots, whichever one's making it darker. Like,
Burning,
doing a lot
burning is darker.
They're burning down a lot of the frame that was dark and just had noisy like garbage in it.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like they're just making a graphic composition out of 2 or 3 elements. And they're just getting rid of the rest. One of the reasons I like taking couples out into the wild away from the wedding is because it lets me have a little more control.
Sure.
And like I just got back from California, Claire and Eric's wedding. Awesome wedding. Loved it. Had a great time. And we were at their house, and that's always, I wasn't sure what it was going to be like, because I don't, like, they're in a house, right? They're not on a ranch. They're not on 1,000 acres. But they had some land behind their house that was open, and there was a couple of labels, and we were able to go out there, and we got some awesome photos. Just because I was able to isolate them. It wasn't in the yard where everything else was going on. It wasn't, it was nice, because it made it look like we were out away from, out in the world, so...
Yeah, and I think that's such a great thing to have, though, is like on the wedding day, right? It's about you and the person you're marrying for some of the photos. Like, you need to have those as like one shot of just a couple. When I talk to clients a lot of times, they're like, yeah, my parents, they didn't have any photos of just them. There was always them and somebody else, them and somebody else.
We always try to do something with just a couple, even if it's
5
not,
minutes.
even if it's just at the altar site.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what today, like Josh and Becca, I think, are having a pretty simple wedding. They're just getting married in a church and going to having a reception inside.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anywhere we can go out and do anything naturey or urban-y or not. I really don't. We'll see what happens. But we're going to definitely take pictures of them by themselves in a nice, clean environment. And it may be in the church, maybe in front of the church. The heat index is 101 today, so I vote for inside the church.
Yeah.
Oh.
Heat index is 108 today.
Oh, 108 today.
Yeah, 108.
Last couple of days have been terrible. Oh my God, it's so humid. I've been trying to work outside, and it just...
Yeah.
It's one of those days where you drink water, and just drink water, and you never pee. And you're like...
Yeah. I've woken up every morning this week feeling dehydrated. Yeah, just like, I need a glass of water.
Yep.
I've also been running again for the last 6-7 weeks, and the last 4 days have really put a cramp in that style. I was like, I got to take the kids. It's 9 o'clock. I'm like, oh, too late to go run. Like, it's miserable.
Yeah, you got to get up at 4 to run, and then come back and get the kids at 6.
Right. So this last week with the finishing up the last week of school for my wife and kids, it's kind of been a cluster. So hopefully next week we can kind of get back on
the schedule.
Yeah.
Colton ought to be getting to the age where he can get up and go run with you. I mean,
he does
a few miles.
He can do about 400-meter run right now.
Okay, so he can't do like a mile jog.
He can do, if he run walks it, he can. Okay. He's covered a mile.
He'll slow you down. You can't run at the pace you should run.
Yeah, because as a kid, there's no
in and out of the legs and then doing shit.
There's no control of like, I'm gonna run and then I'm gonna walk. There's no like, I'm gonna run at a speed that I can maintain.
Yeah, the idea of pacing doesn't exist yet.
Right. But yeah, he'll ride his bike with me. So like, I went and did 2 miles, and he just rode his bike next to me.
That's actually probably a good bet, because he can probably run at your jogging pace. He can ride at your jogging pace for probably miles.
And then after baseball practice, the last couple of weeks, there was a track, and he would go run for like 400 meters and try to beat his time from the week before. So yeah, he's gonna be a single team sport, right? Like golf, track. I don't think.
Yeah, he may be like me. It doesn't do very well on team.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, but yeah, it's been real fun to kind of watch that. It's fun not carrying quite as much weight. I'm down like 9 pounds in the last 6 weeks.
Well, and for you, that's like 5% probably, because you're under 200.
Oh no, I'm not.
Oh, you're
I was 210.
Well, that's 5 pounds, so that's what 10 pounds would be 5%. So you're down 2%. That's still
2%. Yeah.
Still a couple points. That's still a decent amount.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get down. I have a goal. I'm going to try to run a 10-mile race in November. So that's going to be the 40th birthday race.
I'd like to get back down under 250 again.
Yeah. It's so much. It's just, like anything to get better, it's consistent effort. And you want to get better at photography, you have to go
take
shoot.
a lot of pictures.
You got to shoot every week.
And be critical of what you're shooting. Don't just...
Right.
Same with working out, because if you just go work out and don't pay attention to what you're doing, you'll never actually push yourself.
Well, if you just do the same workout, you reach a plateau really quick, right? You do the same 20-minute...
You got to adapt.
Yeah. And change it up. Yeah. There's a lot of overlap there. A lot of overlap there.
I think overlap for everything.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of secrets in life. Consistent effort is a big one. You want to be successful, consistently do something over and over and work to get better figure out a way to get a positive feedback loop going.
There's no way to guarantee you'll be the best in the world or even one of the top people in the world, but you can be a very competent expert with just a lot of work. Like, that sounds kind of snotty, but it takes a lot of talent. There's a lot of innate things, you know, like the people who are the best basketball players in the world have a lot of physical characteristics. Like, no amount of work will ever make up for not being 7 feet tall and having arms that are super long and all that.
Right, yeah.
But
a coach that I follow, he always said, "Yeah, I can't teach height." Right.
But you can be a short guy and you can get really good. Like,
yeah.
And in basketball and professional world, like, the only people who play professional basketball are the best of the best. But in any kind of thing like photography, I may never be as good as the people who have some innate characteristics that make them better at photography, or who've spent their entire life doing art. I didn't start until I was 25 or 30. You know, but I can certainly be really, really good, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and yeah, I find for me, I like to have goalposts of like who's doing it the best in the world. Right, we mentioned some already. Winters, Alexis Sinclair, right, Gregory Heisler, some of those guys.
Yeah.
And that's certainly good to have that goalpost, but for me, it's about making myself better. Like, how can I be better this year than I was the year before? How can I make this one better? And so for me, like when I read a book, if I can get one thing from a book, or if I can get one thing from a workshop, if I can get any one new thing from a movie, or
you can never only really learn one thing at a time.
Yeah. I think like when people go to workshops, they try to learn everything. Like, I'm going to learn the complete process of how to be a professional photography in 4 hours.
4 lights, and I've never shot any flash photography at all.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to get there. That's too much in one day.
But if I can be like, okay, this week I'm going to learn how to go from, you know, an auto mode to a manual mode, and then
auto mode to I'm going to learn how to use shutter priority or aperture priority.
Right.
Which is not really a manual mode, but it's more control. I'm going to take more control.
I'll call it a more manual mode.
It's more manual mode. It's not manual, but it's a way to take more control.
Yeah.
To make more intentional decisions.
And then the week after that, okay, now I'm just going to shoot just a manual, and there's going to be some mistakes. And and then getting those fundamentals, and right, it's just like sedimentary rock. You're just building those layers on top of each other, and that's the only way to stack. You just have to stack bricks of work. And so for me, what I've been trying to work on, kind of getting back to what we're talking about, is really been working with color. We did that engagement studio shoot, where I was just using color to separate them.
Oh, the one we did soaked in that I shot black and white?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I've really been interested in. Those are the people I tend to follow. And that was kind of like, okay, I can do a little bit. And now I kind of, you know, I've been playing with it and playing with it and playing with it.
You think you have to be realistic about what you're trying to do. Like color, we think, oh, it's just one thing. No. Trying to understand mixing different colors is not something, unless you've been dealing with colors. Like if you're a painter and you mix colors, okay, you might have some intuition about how to make a given color.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm starting to get the kind of intuition a little bit. Probably not as good as you because you're starting to actually do it a lot. And that's so you kind of have to do it incrementally. Again, if you come in with 5 colored gels, you're just going to get brown. Like everything's going to be brown.
Right. Well, then learning that scalpel approach of I want this light there and I want this light here instead of just.
You couldn't do that if we hadn't been shooting off-camera flash for so long.
Right. Yeah.
Working at it at a high level, like.
Right.
You know, set your ambient, then build light on top of that whole process, because you're also adding color to that process. So you have to be able to do that just instinctually. Yeah,
well, and actually going back before that shoot, when we were at the last Langtry trip, where I was shifting white balance and camera with colored one light, and I was doing one light to get an effect. I was gelling my flash green so that I could then in post turn the skin back to white, and it was shifting the skies magenta. And I saw that from Frank Dorhorf, who's a German photographer and instructor. And I was doing it with one light just to kind of get my feel, and now I'm doing 2, and soon I'll be doing 3 is about as much as I want to go, because that.
I mean, at some point 50 lights.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. Then you're lighting a stage, right?
Well, and you can't get.
Yeah.
It's diminishing returns. The viewer does not have the visual acuity to see it.
Right. Right.
You can make art that nobody can appreciate.
Yeah.
You know, our visual system only sees so many colors at once.
Yeah, so I think I want to be able to build up to 3 to where I can kind of get some interesting things And so that's kind of what I've been playing with this spring since the last time we talked. So if you see my work, I know some of it looks dark, but if you look, it's actually very colorful, just in a darker tone. And I should be sharing more of those behind the scenes, because like where I shot was like 10 feet from somebody's driveway.
So when you're shooting, I try to always get interesting BTSs, and I think I get much more interesting BTSs when you're shooting. Like, it's hard for me to get...
It's hard. I'm shooting by myself. It's hard for me to get BTS.
You can't get a photo of you doing something.
Yeah.
So BTSs are their own thing. So that's an interesting thing. It's where you need a partner.
Yeah.
To come do that. And I haven't been doing it for you, but some of my favorite photos are like with a BTS. So the Imperial Guard, the Red Guard. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the other guys in the 501 costume came over and I was helping him adjust his stuff, and I took a photo. And it's awesome because it looks like we're doing headshots for the Imperial military. Because you've got like one of the officer in the officer cap and stuff.
Yeah.
Like fixing his guard uniform. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I try to get pullback shots. So I just posted one from that Tacticon where it showed, the lights were firing, but then it showed the scene as well.
Yeah, that's what this was. Like, I already had the light set up, and I just pulled back and got him and the backdrop and all that.
Brad Trent, whose company's called Damn Ugly Photography, he's in New York, and he actually integrates light stands, and so
I've been kind of wanting to do a portrait where you can almost the ballet dog shoot. I almost did with a backdrop behind her where you can see the edges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brad Trent does a really good job of. So he set up a backdrop in like Grand Central Station or some busy,
and just have people like stop in.
But then it was in the middle of everybody walking around. So he did some shots where you could see none of that, but then he did some pullback shots where it was incorporating the environment and the lit section.
And it's a totally different like viewing experience.
And then there was one where like a kid like peeked around the corner and he fired, and like that was the winner. And so you're kind of setting up. It's a very interesting play with like, yes, this is totally faked and this is totally in a studio, but look where we set the studio up, and now we're recontextualizing it.
Well, you think about like Heisler, right? We talked about him. Like, there's a Denzel Washington photo where you can see the background behind it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's very interesting. Where it's like, yeah, we know what we're doing, and now we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit and kind of show you what it looks like. So speaking of recontextualizing, I shot for the Blank Museum last night. Their new exhibit is really awesome. It's modern Aboriginal art from Australia. So it's art from like 1970 to today, and it looks very like colorful abstract art. And I was listening to the collector last night, and it looks to you and I, it looks very abstract art. But it was interesting. It was collaborative. So a group of guys or girls came together and each person would get a section of the canvas, but it all looked almost...
They're trying to make an integrated whole.
It was an integrated whole. But the reason that they did it was because, although it looked abstract to us, it was actually like a map of the cave system. And it covered a 55,000, like...
They have more context than we have, so they're used to seeing that picture.
But each person only knew part of the map, because it was such a big area that they were mapping out, that each person so like the old men had a smaller area to paint because they couldn't travel as far anymore, so they only knew one part of the area. Anyway, it was fascinating to me. Is like, well, it was abstract, but it wasn't. It was a map.
A lot of good abstracts are that way. When you first see them, it just looks abstract and it's interesting, and then you realize what it is, and suddenly it's like the hidden picture. It snaps into. You can't see the abstract anymore then.
Yeah. So anyway, if you get a chance, it's going to be there for the next 3 months. It's at the Blank Museum. It's really awesome.
So what else you got going on the next couple of months?
Let's
couple of weeks. We can do it underwater, so at some point.
Yeah, we'll be doing underwater. I'm doing some more underwater on Tuesday. Kind of playing with just natural light underwater for now. I may try to do natural light with a vinyl backdrop underwater.
I gotta buy a strobe.
I've been looking at strobes.
I know, but I'm gonna be California. So is my housing.
I know. We'll talk about it offline. Okay. I found some good options.
Okay.
But so anyway, my housing I can't really do with lights. I can, but it doesn't.
He has a janky housing.
It's a sport housing. It's not a dive housing.
It was not the $2,500, $3,000 option that I bought.
Yes, it's made for shooting like in surf and sand. It's only good for like 33 feet. It's really good for that.
It's pool. It's a pool housing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been playing with some natural light underwater, but so I was also using that Nick Fancher, and I'm really a lot happier with how the colors turned out.
For adjusting. I really want to take. I got to do it probably in June when I go to the Gulf. I'm going to take your Passport color checker on the dive with me.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm going to take some shots there, and I'm going to play with trying to get a color profile and see, because it's torturous. Like what depth you're at, how clear the water is, like it changes all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to see if with that I can. Okay, like we're going to be diving at 60 feet most of this dive. I'm going to take a picture of the thing there, and then see how that works as a baseline.
Yeah, the hard part is the first 10 feet for me, because
there's the most dramatic change to begin with.
Yeah, the first 3 feet you lose all the red, and then oranges and yellows go next. And so in 10 feet you go from daylight to like 120 Kelvin, like 120,000 Kelvin.
Yeah.
In like the first 10 feet.
You got to boost your red so much.
Oh gosh, yeah. And so that's what we're playing with the color calibration sliders instead of the hue and saturation has really helped. Yeah.
What else you shooting? We got a race tomorrow.
Yeah, we have a race tomorrow, trail race. I'm just gonna be really working on soaked. I did a soaked again Monday or Tuesday this week. Trying to do some more of those. Trying to get up to 50. I'm at like 29 right now. So if anybody's interested in doing soaked, showcase what you do.
The weather is good right now for it.
Yes, it's hot and the cold water will feel good.
Yeah.
That's why we do them in the summer. So yeah, I really just work on underwater and soak series and playing with color. That's kind of the next couple months for me. Yeah.
Got some diving coming up. I'm teaching a bunch of workshops. We're going to Caddo Lake next weekend. That's sold out for Precision. That's going to be a little more like photo walks. It'll be pretty cool. We're going to dawn. We have a 4:55 a.m. wake up call on Saturday because we're going out at dawn on some boats, see the swamp.
And I'll be teaching some classes at Precision coming up, and also at Round Rock Art Space. So that's going to be a new place where we're going to be teaching.
Yeah, have you answered his email? We'll talk offline.
We'll talk. Yeah.
Anyways, I've got some workshops. I'll be back Milky Way and stuff. You're doing most of our customer shooting right now, which is fine. Yeah. I'm going to be trying to get some stuff going in Seattle. Not Seattle, San Diego.
I was like, oh, awesome. I didn't know about Seattle.
Moving to Seattle too. No, San Diego. So, yeah, cool. So I guess we're time to start thinking about lunch.
Yeah.
So we'll check y'all later.
All right, we're on the road.
See you later.